this and making this available for all of you so that you have a permanent record. It appears that we've got our technology going, so let's roll up our sleeves and get started. If you have questions as we go along today, please, there's a little chat window. Put the questions right in the chat window, and we want to make sure we answer and give you the information that you need in order to be successful. So with no further ado, let's get everything to full screen, and let's go through the material that I want to share with you today. What we're going to cover in today's discussions is what is local search? What's it all about? How does it differ from other types of search? We're going to go through that for you. We'll talk about what factors, what you need to do to make sure you dominate your local rankings in your local markets. I'm going to give you an action plan, something step by step you can use. And I'm also going to discuss common local mistakes that people make and how you can avoid them. Now, we have a lot of new people that are on today's call, and I want to welcome you. For those of you that don't know anything about me, my name is Brian Offenberger, and what I'm teaching you is what you see right here. This is the land of opportunity. This is local search. We're going to talk about this area right here. It's called a 7-pack on Google. And this 7-pack, for those of you that are astute, and if I've got any of you that are on the call, we have overwhelming. I'm grateful for everybody that's here. But if any of you are in Phoenix and you do oil changes, well, here's a golden opportunity. There's 7 positions on the first page for Google for the term oil change for Phoenix, Arizona, and yet only 3 people are listed there. Wow, could be a tremendous opportunity for somebody on this call today. And we're going to go through and show you how you can capitalize on it and make all of that work for you. Now, as I said, I'm Brian Offenberger. I'm a marketing strategist, author, and keynote speaker, as well as I'm the owner of Right On Noble Marketing Companies, which includes Security Selling and Aftermarketer Club. I hosted a radio show about online marketing practices for 6 years. We had hundreds of some of the world's finest thought leaders about online marketing on our program. Now I do a lot of keynote speaking as well. You'll see some of my certifications and backgrounds. And without further ado, I don't think I need to tell you that in your local markets, the world's really changed. You know, I'm old enough to remember the days, and it really wasn't that long ago, where these things called the yellow pages really is where people went. If I wanted to know where something was at in a local community, where'd you go? You went to the yellow pages. You may turn to the newspaper. And the world today has dramatically changed. I mean, my uncle, who's a little bit older than I, was over visiting a couple of years ago, and I came home, and he's like, "Where's your yellow pages?" And, you know, I don't have one, and a lot of us don't. You know, search engines have recognized how the world's changed, and there's a lot of localized things that are important to you, some of which you see on the screen today. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through them all. I'm going to give you what you need to know. We'll separate, you know, the junk from the reality so that we give you a step-by-step process. Local SEO is the process of getting what you're doing to get on the first page for search engine rankings that are related to your local market. See, here's the reality, is that overwhelming majority, I think it's like 90% of all searches have some sort of local intent. And search engines recognize that. You know, if I'm in Phoenix and I'm looking for a Mexican restaurant, well, Google doesn't want to send me results from a place in Birmingham, Alabama. It doesn't make sense. It's not relevant to me. Or if I'm looking for a barber shop, or if I'm looking for an oil change, you know, if I'm looking to buy a car, any of these type of activities, Google and search engines want to give results to a searcher that are close to them, that are geographically close to them. And what local SEO is, it's the process or what you're doing to make sure that you appear on this little thing in front of you. It's called a 7-pack, and you've seen it. And your objective is to make sure you're there, and I'm going to show you how to do it, and going to give you lots of tips. You use these tips, it's going to make you lots of money. Now, the difference between local search engine optimization, or SEO, and regular SEO, you see here on the screen. As I said, local is built around local optimization, local markets, whereas regular SEO is more on national or international scales. That's the biggest difference. Now, you'll see different tactics that are used for both, all right? But local search is around local markets, and regular SEO is national or international primarily, maybe even regional. Let me walk you through what's important for local search. Let's talk first. What are the most important factors? What are the top 10 things? So if I want to get on Google for my local market, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and I sell alarm systems in Phoenix, and I want to get to the top of the security rankings for terms that are in my market. So what are the most important things to do to get on Google? Well, there was a survey of 42 thought leaders within my business, within the search engine marketing industry, and these are the top 10 things that they thought were important. Now, yes, we are making this available to you. You will be able to get this on our website tomorrow. We'll send you an email how you could access it. I am going to walk you through a lot of the specific things, but these are the top 10 things that are important in order for you to have good stuff and higher rankings, and let me walk you through them, okay? First is what's called NAP consistency. When you go, let me go back here. I want to make sure I'm good, okay? First is, in addition to these, is NAP consistency. Now, NAP is very, very important for local markets. NAP means name, address, and phone number. And search engines aren't smart enough to distinguish differences like you see on the screen. So, when you create online marketing materials, number one, and number two, I'm going to talk to you about specific places that you need your business to appear for good local rankings. Those are called localized directories, and I'm going to share with you all about them and what you need to know about them. But the important thing is that you list your business the exact same way every place online. That's called NAP consistency. Search engines cannot distinguish. You and I know that all three of those addresses, the way they're written on the screen, they're all for the same place. We know that. But this machine that we have to deal with, keep in mind, gang, first time in history that we're dealing with a machine in addition to human beings. So this machine called Google, it might not be smart enough to distinguish the difference. Now, another criteria that is increasingly important is what's called citations. You know them as reviews. And these are what people, how they comment on your business online. We're going to give you some tips and tactics about how to get online reviews and what kinds of online reviews and how to prompt your audience to do that. If you hang on with us, we'll get to that a little bit later. But volume of citations is really, really important to you as well. Getting citations, well, what do? I'm going to cover it for you now. You ask your loyal customers. Ask. Keyword, ask. You know, most people might not know how to write a review, so give them a little tip. I came here. Here's what they did for me, and here's what impact it had on me. If they follow those three simple formats, you don't need them to be Hemingway. It needs to be genuine. It needs to be authentic, but ask, encourage them. Use inside signage. You know, many of you are brick and mortar retailers. You know, I know I've got car dealerships here. You run service departments, parts departments. People come in and buy stuff. You ship out parts to them. How about a little slip in the packing stuff that says, hey, write a review for us on Yelp, you know, or on Google or any of the spots that they can do it. Ask and you shall receive. Now, another thing that's extremely important that I'm going to walk you through is your local links. These are links from localized businesses that link from their website into yours. The quality and quantity of your local links can be important. You know, here's what's neat. You know, I wanted to cover this earlier, and please, shame on me. You know, according to Google's own stats, the last that I've read, they estimate that less than 1 out of 4 businesses in the United States has done this properly. I want you to think about how I started this whole session off today. I showed you oil changes. Don't you think that's a pretty competitive category? Are there a lot of places you can get oil changes done in your local market? Yet here I am in Phoenix, Arizona, one of the largest markets in the United States, and I key in oil change, and only 3 places appear in the 7-pack on Google for that. Only 3 out of the 7 available opportunities are even being shown. That should be a really good indicator to you that we're giving you some tools here and some things you can do that are really going to make some traffic differences for you. All right, so we have the quality of the local links. What do we do? How do we take action? Brian, you've given me the 10 criteria and then 4 other things that are really important. All of you know that these slides will be available to you tomorrow as well as a video copy of this discussion. So let's talk about action steps. What do we need to do? Well, first and foremost, we need to know what search terms, what keywords we want people to that people are using to find us. All right? We need to know the search terms that we want to optimize our local content around. Now, there's tools that we can use. You see them here. Some of them are free. The Google tool, WordStream has a free trial. Most of them will even have free trials for you. But the important thing is this. You know, people come into Google, they type something into the search query bar, and they use words. Those are called keywords, all right? So you need to know what are the keywords people are using to buy the things that you sell. Use these tools first to find out what they are. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the tools, the words that people are using, and you're going to put a geographic reference to them. So in other words, I'm going to take oil change, if that's the term somebody's using, and I'm going to put Phoenix in front of it. So I'm going to put a geographic reference to that term, and where I need to go next is I need to make sure that my web pages, the programming source code, it's called the page titles and descriptions, they need to reflect my geographic term within the page title. So what does that mean? If I sell used cars in Orlando, well, I want my page title to be Orlando Used Car Dealer. Not just used car dealer, but Orlando Used Car Dealer. Does everybody get that? Now there's a meta title. There's a meta description. What I'd like to do would be to have my proper keyword being used within the meta title and description that's relevant to the page. And I want to put a geographic reference. I can use a city. I can use a zip code. I encourage you to stick with cities and zip codes because I live in Phoenix and we refer to it as the Valley. But I know I've got people all over North America on this call, and I'm confident that one of you also live in the Valley that's not in Arizona. You see what I mean? So update your page titles. Make sure they have the proper keyword and the geographic reference. You want unique titles for every page, okay? You can use the tip to make sure, because every page needs to be about a different topic of your website, right? If I am a car dealer, I have a page for new cars. I have a page for used cars. I have a page for new SUVs. I have a page for used SUVs. All of those are different pages. They all need unique page titles. We've talked about adding locations, all right? Very, very simple. Search engines want people to get results that are close to them. Next tip, make sure your business address is on every page. And for most of you, stop and think about it. You know, if you run a restaurant, all right, I'm going to pick on restaurant guys. I've got several of you on this call, all right? So if you run a restaurant, how many people are going to come to your website simply because they want to know your address, your phone number for maybe your takeout, maybe a link to a map, and how about your hours? And oh, if you offer any coupons, so what, those 5 things? How about you make it really, really easy for people to find those 5 things? Think you might sell more? You know, put your address there, your hours. Local area codes are really cool, all right? 877, you know, look, most of us live in these unlimited calling plan era anyway. So it makes no difference if I'm dialing a toll-free number or if I'm dialing a 602 area code number from a cost perspective. It costs me the same. So use your local area codes. Those are really important, and search engines love them that way. Now, I know some of you are on this call that you operate locations in different markets, right? You're a multi-market retailer. Well, what you want to do in those kind of instances is you'd like to set up a separate page on your website for each market that you operate in. Follow some of these same concepts that we're discussing today, and again, you're going to be at least ahead of others that are in your shoes. All right? Okay, here we go. Next, what I do. Step 1, I know my keywords. Step 2, I make sure that they're within my website, my meta descriptions and titles and alt tags, and I've got my address in it. Then I want to go claim my profiles. In the big ones you see right on the page, but most markets there are 100 plus for most markets. I've only put the big ones on the screen here. And here's what I'm going to share something with you. If you're going to do this on your own, or if you hire someone to help you, either way, here is one tip. Submit to Google last. Here's why. Google's the most important one of all of them. And here's what I want you to picture in your mind. You and I, we both have a website. We both do the same thing. And we both start in this process of local search submission at the same time. What I do is I submit to Google first. So I tell Google, here I am, I submit to them, and then what Google does is they go out and they scour the web. They go to all these other places and they don't see me anywhere. Now what you do is you go out to all these other places and make sure you're listed there first, and then you go to Google. And then Google, the big boys, scours the web and they see you everywhere. Boy, I saw a lot of light bulbs go on with that one, huh? And it's a mistake a lot of people make. They do Google, or I see all the time, there are firms that will help you get top rankings on Google in your local market for $200 a month. Well, let me tell you something. They aren't going to do that for you for $200 a month, and 2, they're ripping you off. You could probably get it done for a lot less, maybe even under $1,000. Okay? So you have some options here. Make sure you fill out your profiles. Holy cow. These places ask for a lot of information, and you want to fill them out completely. Not 90%. I know you're on the call, Greg. Not 90%. 100%. You want them all filled out. Okay? Make sure they're completed that way. If they ask for videos, phone numbers, pictures, things along that line. Because, again, I want you to take a look at a competitive environment. If your profiles are 100% complete and mine aren't, everything else being equal, boy, do you have an advantage. Videos and photos are huge, absolutely huge. Right now, today, I'm using a PowerPoint that we're recording and making a video out of it. Anybody can make a video. It's very easy to do, okay? Pictures. And the more, this is where people trip themselves up all the time. They don't include videos, they don't include photos, and these are what valuable, high quality content that search engines are looking for. So find some. Take a picture of your building if you need to. But you want to be complete. You know, most of them will ask for 3 to 5 images. So make sure that you're following the completion guidelines. Pay attention to the videos and post photos. And don't cut corners here. These, you know, you get on the first page, it can be huge for your business. A blog's a great thing. A blog is something, if you have a blog that you're adding content to on a regular basis, that gives you an advantage. The other thing that you can do with your blog is this. Add geographical indicators to your blog postings. How about to the titles? How about to the descriptions? How about within the text of the post? Those are all things you can do that will help you out in your local market with your blog. Now, it's always wise to make sure you don't have any technical issues going on with your site. And a nice, free, easy tool to use is to make sure your site's listed within Google Webmaster Tools, free. They'll run a diagnostic check for you, pinpoint issues. Once all that's clear, you're good to go. Now, let me kind of review what I've walked you through, and we're going to go through a little bit more for you. But what I've told you first, you need to make sure you know the proper keywords that you want your business to be optimized for, right? Next, after you make sure that you have your right keywords, you want to make sure that geographic indicators are in your meta titles, your meta descriptions, your alt tags, and your on-page text of your website. We then went through, we make sure our site's structurally sound. We then go through the process of listing our site with the right local directories that are important to the markets and communities that we operate in. You know, if you're an Arizona-based business, there are several Arizona-only directories that are really, really important for you to be in. And they're private and they're exclusive. If you're a franchise operator, you can't get in them. If you're not headquartered in Arizona, you can't get in them. So they have lots of weight and lots of value. So you have market-specific directories as well as those on a national level like Google Plus and Facebook and Bing. So we've gone through those steps. Now let me give you the last step. And the last step is you want inbound links from other sites that are in your local community. Now they need to be relevant, and we kind of call them three types of sites. You have community sites, which are things like your chambers and your Rotary clubs. You have authoritative sites within your communities, which are things like your news sites, like here in Arizona we have abc15.com, we have arizonacentral.com, and then you also have other credible businesses within your community. Other credible businesses. You have those three categories. And your goal is to obtain inbound links from those places into your website. And I don't want this to sound overwhelming because very candidly, like I shared with you, 3 out of 4 of your competitors haven't touched this and aren't doing it right. This is low-hanging fruit, guys, that can really drive lots and lots and lots of money. And I don't want to be flippant with your money, but you can hire good help, including us. I'll put our hands up, but you can hire good help with this. It'd blow your mind. Very reasonable. So next, you want to encourage citations. We talked about that a little bit earlier. You know, have point-of-sale signage within your stores. Make sure that you have little things. If you can put messaging on your receipts, if you can include a little reminder in your shipping, if you have service technicians that perform service calls, encourage them to encourage their customers to provide a review on Yelp. You know I have a client right now that if they have a technician that's been within a customer's location and within 2 weeks of them being there, there is a review posted online from that customer, they get $20. Okay? So there's lots you can do to try to encourage yourself to get these citations. And again, you don't need overwhelming numbers. You know, all of our situations are different. All of our markets are different. But I mean, if you stop and you look and compare to most of your competitors, I'm going to guess for most of you, if you have 10 good citations, you're probably way ahead of the game for most of you. Okay? Not big numbers right here. And if you, again, you look at it and you incorporate getting citations as part of your business practice, I mean, come on, stop and think about it. You know, if I'm traveling to Seattle, Brian, I see you on the call, if I'm traveling to Seattle and I'm going to go out and have dinner, you know, I go to Google and I search. Let me ask you something. If I'm considering 2 places and one of them have 80 reviews that are stellar and another has 3, where do you think I'm going to go? So help yourself win the game this way, not only by getting higher rankings, but getting business. We've gone through a lot today, and I want to thank you. I looked through the questions. I think I've done a pretty good job in answering them, and I want to make sure before I let you all go today that I have answered all your questions. So while we're scanning the globe, so to speak, to make sure that we've done so, I want to invite you to join us next month for our webinar in May. I'm bringing a special guest with me. Actually, 2. One is our content manager here with our companies, Joe Giordano, and I'll have someone else along with us that will be letting you know. We're going to talk about, have you ever wondered what to put on your Facebook page? Or how can you find topics that you can write about for your blog? Or what do you put in your newsletter that actually engages people and creates sales opportunities? Well, I'm going to go through that next month. In May, I'm going to go through how to create content that actually sells, where you can find topics, and how you can develop content that engages your audience and creates sales opportunities. So we're going to go through that in the month of May. You'll see right here, May 2nd. It's a Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. for my friends on the Pacific Coast. We're going to rock and roll, and I'm going to tell you, I know many of you go home at night sitting there wondering, what are you going to put on your Facebook page the next day? And what are you going to put on your Facebook page the next day, that type of thing. And we're going to show you how to find that content. I've got more questions coming in. This is a beautiful one. This is an absolutely gorgeous question, and I'm sorry I've got a lot coming in. So whoever asked this, hats off to you. It says, how often do you find B2B customers looking at Yelp for reviews? I don't have any statistics on that, but here's what I do have. Here's where they are looking. They're looking on LinkedIn. They're looking at the profiles of the reps that they're dealing with and the companies that they're dealing with to find out what kind of references you're seeing there. So what you want to do on LinkedIn, you want to encourage your business associates and your customers to write recommendations for you on LinkedIn. You also know those are business specialties that you can list what your business specialties are, and people can endorse you for those specialties. Those will be things that you're going to find will help you out a lot in a B2B environment on LinkedIn, okay? So that's really, really cool. Several of you have asked for me to re-show the keyword slide where you can get keyword tools. Well, I'm not going to go back. I am going to let you know that we do have these available. You can access this. You'll get an email tomorrow on how you can access this, and I will let you know that some of the more common free keyword tools that you can try. One is called Word Tracker. Another is Word Stream. And you could go to our friend Google and key in Google Keyword Selector, and up would pop something from Google that you could use as well. Okay? Neat stuff. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. I've really enjoyed it. As I shared with you, my company, we provide services to help you with your local search submissions. We get it done for you the right way, make it smooth and efficient, and it really, really has huge impacts. So if you need my help, please give me a call. Thank you for everybody attending today. My contact information, yes, I should be a little bit smarter, and I'll put that on the screen for everyone. Here's how you can reach us. Brian@rightonnobull.com. Also our phone number there. So again, thank you for participating. Everybody have a great day. Bye now.